careful, Teresa. That elite was an ultra.
Paul said that women shouldn't speak in church. My testimony of Paul was increased the other day. I saw this video on YouTube about polygamy, and I clicked it, and this woman is going on, and she's so sad about how hard it was for her to understand polygamy, and this is how she came to terms with it. I can sympathize with that. That's fine. If you want to talk about that, that's fine. And then she says, the reason how I've been able to come to terms with this is that I have determined that polygamy is not from God. Okay, Paul had a point here. But at the same time, I do sympathize with women struggling to understand their divine purpose, and that's because they've been lied to about it, like a lot. Everyone says, well, can we learn about Heavenly Mother? What do we know about Heavenly Mother? Let's learn about Heavenly Mother. Oh, we just don't know that much. We just don't know. Yeah. The scriptures don't really say anything about her because she's secret and God doesn't want people to make fun of her. And it's like, she's actually in the scriptures, like a lot. And Christians hate her, like a lot, actually. Like, that's kind of why he said that the creeds were an abomination. That's why he's kind of actually fed up with Christians. You know, maybe it's not because he really cares about the Trinity. If you learn about it, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Is it really that diabolical? The Catholics certainly have a lot more respect for Mary. Some would argue too much respect, but I don't think so. I think that the veneration of Mary is 100% justified. You maybe don't pray to her 50,000 Hail Marys, but I think that the Protestant approach of, oh, Mary's just a nobody, or she's not God, and it's like, well, she kind of is. If you want to know about Heavenly Mother, I think that studying the Virgin Mary is a good place to start. She's in the scriptures a lot. She's a Heavenly Mother. She's not our Heavenly Mother, but she is a Heavenly Mother, certainly. But that's not the Heavenly Mother I'm talking about. When we talk about Heavenly Mother, obviously we're not talking about Mary, the Mother of God. We're talking about something else entirely. Oh, we just don't know. We just don't know. We know a lot, and feminists are going to hate this, but the person who taught us the most about Heavenly Mother was Brigham Young. And Brigham Young taught us about Heavenly Mother in his speeches, and Brigham Young taught us about Heavenly Mother in the endowment. She's in there a lot. All these questions about Heavenly Mother just go away. If you would just accept Brigham Young as a prophet, sure, there's maybe some hard stuff for you to stomach there, but if you just accept him as a prophet, then you get your Heavenly Mother. Forgot to finish my thought earlier that the creeds aren't really that abominable. You know, it's not that crazy to say that the Trinity is a thing. I think it's a little over the top for God to say it's an abomination, but maybe smack-talking his wife is a little annoying to him. Maybe that's why he would call it an abomination, is that the theology of the Christian world says that his wife is evil, and that he is evil. A friend of mine pointed out, he said, it's really interesting to me that Christianity and Gnosticism are the same, because both of them denigrate the creator of this world as evil. You know, he's an evil God. It almost makes the apostasy start to make sense when you say, oh, all the other religions, they think that God is evil. That makes a lot more sense. All that stuff about the Trinity is just nice and well. You know, we can talk about pleroma or whatever the heck it is the Gnostics believe in, the good God. But if the demiurge is bad, and that's God, he might be a little mad. The more you learn about what Brigham Young said and how it's been covered up and reinterpreted, starts to make believing in the immediate great apostasy after the death of Christ very believable. And everything starts to make a lot more sense. We know a lot about Heavenly Mother. We need to stop saying we don't know a lot about her. She's in the scriptures. If you would just look at it, all these women, am I just going to be like some sort of spiritual womb pumping out babies? Well, kind of, but also there's like a ton of other things that you need to be doing all the time. It teaches you all about them in the endowment. It's literally right there. Rejoice, ladies. All 0 ladies who are listening to this, rejoice. For the doctrine of Heavenly Mother is checked and confirmed. And we know lots about her for those with eyes to see. That's not even including all the apocrypha about her. There's a whole bunch. So go learn about her if you want. But don't go saying that I've discovered for myself that polygamy is not of God. Because if you're going to accept Heavenly Mother, then you have to accept polygamy. because the Mother of God, Jesus Christ, she's not our Heavenly Mother, but she is a Heavenly Mother. You're going to have to just accept that. And, oh, it's so hard, I guess. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. The terrestrial kingdom is going to be great because there's not going to be any women there. It seems like they're all going to get promoted in the celestial kingdom as somebody's like 50,000th wife or something. And the terrestrial kingdom is going to be pretty dope. Quite a bit of a boys' club. And I'm excited for it. Excited to go there and be there. It's going to be great. So I was in this institute class, which was the Sacred Truths and Tough Questions, and they argued that the Origin of Man document was proof that God had only one wife. Because it says in there that everyone on this earth is from one set of heavenly parents. I do not think that that means that God does not have multiple wives. And if this teacher had been more open to tough questions, as the name of the class was named, if I was going to name the class, I'd call it Learning Bad Takes About the Gospel.com. If God is not a polygamist, is the Virgin Mary not God's wife? Is Jesus Christ an illegitimate son? How can Jesus Christ be the legitimate son of God if God is not a polygamist? And then you say, well, that's not exactly, it doesn't mean it like that. Well, then go be a Christian. Because they don't believe that God has a body, so they don't even have to worry about it. So maybe when we think of polygamy, we should not think of polygamy as, ooh, that's so gross. Ooh, it's so yucky. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. First of all, if you actually meet some polygamists, they're super cool and they're super nice. And it's kind of like meeting them feels like meeting your long-lost cousins. Because they are. I mean, at least the ones that I've met have been super friendly, almost like family, and they're just good people. The dynamics are not what I'm used to, but it's not that weird, and it gives you insight into what your ancestors' lives were like, because in the case of most people, they've got at least one polygamous ancestor if they've got pioneer ancestry. So I think when it comes to polygamy, we focus on how weird it is. Oh, these men get all these wives. And we don't think about how it is through polygamy that God is able to give us a Savior. Without polygamy, there is no atonement. And so the laws of the universe have been designed, and the commandments or whatever, and what's allowed and what's not, so that we can return to God, because this is His work and His glory. And seemingly it is not possible for the atonement or an atonement to take place without polygamy. So think about that. I think that polygamy is a prerequisite for the atonement. If we didn't have polygamy, we wouldn't have Christ. That is the point that I am trying to make. I think that polygamy is a very true principle. If you really just go accept what Brigham Young taught, a polygamist, about Heavenly Mother, so many of the concerns of women would just be melted away if they could just understand this. Or they would leave, which, that's fine too. I'd rather have people who are committed. And the faster the church can become a boys' club, the better, I say. It started out as a boys' club in many ways, and it was better back then. So, those are my thoughts on Heavenly Mother. She's real. She's in the scriptures. We know a lot about her, and we can plug our ears and pretend that we don't. She's all through the endowment, and there's so much to learn about her and the kind of person that she is. And in addition to her, we have the Virgin Mary, our Holy Mother, as the Catholics would say, and they'd be happy to talk to you all about her. And they've got all sorts of lore that's not official Mormon doctrine, but might be worth looking into. Those are just my thoughts about Heavenly Mother, and I hope you have a good one.